If your emails are being ignored, even by people who signed up to your email list, then stop sending emails until you've listened to the end of this video, because in this video, I'm going to go through the top reasons why people don't open your emails or don't even click on them and how to fix them. And if you stay to the end of the video, I'll give you a bonus tip as well. So stay with me. Now, whether you're a side hustler, entrepreneur, or business owner, whenever you're sending emails to your email list or working on your email marketing strategy, it's important to think about psychology. Now, the first trigger is cognitive overload. The second trigger that I'll go through is perceived low value. And the final trigger that I will talk about in this video is a lack of urgency or trust. But I will also give you solutions to overcome all those hidden triggers so that you can connect with your email list, your subscribers, and encourage them to click, open, and read your emails. So the first trigger, cognitive overload. If you've got too much information in your email, your readers, your subscribers, they don't know what you want them to do, what you want them to focus on, and what action you want them to take. For example, if you're a freelance designer and you send an email to your list saying, here's what I've been doing this week. And inside that email, you share a personal story, you share some of the things you're working on, and then you give them a free Canva template, for example. And then you say at the end, let me know what you think. Now, that call to action at the end is far too vague. And in the body of the email, you're focusing on all these different topics and subjects. And that's why in this scenario, your readers may disengage and not even take the action that you want them to. Your readers don't know what to do with that email. They're probably thinking, should I ignore this? Should I save it? Is it important to me? Does it help me? So it's key that you have one goal and one action in the emails that you send to your subscribers. To fix cognitive overload in the emails that you send to your subscribers, it's important to stick to one goal. Focus on one thing in that email, one key message that you want to get across, and also one simple, clear call to action. But I guess I should have said this at the beginning, because before someone even clicks on your email to read the content that you have inside of it, you need to have an enticing email subject line. Now, there are many ways to write email subject lines and get people to click, etc. But the fundamental thing you need to think about when writing your email subject lines is what your audience or your readers want to get from that. So when your email lands in their inbox, your audience, your readers, your subscribers, they're probably thinking, what's in it for me? Why should I bother opening this email? What am I going to get from it? So if you have that question in your mind from your audience's perspective, that should help you write a subject line that will encourage them to click your email even before they read it. Now, the second hidden trigger is low perceived value. For example, you're a copywriter and you send an email with a subject line saying, want to improve your email marketing? Email is still the #1 channel. Here's why. Now, that subject line reads like a blog post even, and it can sound quite generic and bland. We all know that lots of people use AI in different spheres, in different subjects, in different sectors. So you want to make sure in this world of AI that you still sound personable and that your brand's voice, your brand's personality still shines through your emails, and so that your email subscribers recognize you and recognize your voice through your emails, even in your subject lines. So to fix this low perceived value, ensure that your emails have a bit of your personality in it. So for example, in the subject line, rather than the subject line I just mentioned before, if you said something like, here's the email I wrote for a client that got a 47% open rate. Now that's a subject line that is very specific. It talks about the 47% open rate, and you're also creating suspense. Now that's more likely to get people to click on that email rather than using the subject line that I mentioned earlier. Now the third hidden trigger that can destroy your email response is a lack of urgency. Now without urgency or credibility, emails get opened and forgotten. Readers think maybe later, but then later never comes. So another example here. You're a social media strategist and you've just launched a new service. So you go out to your email list and you tell them about your new service. You keep it short and sweet. Now that's a good thing, keeping your email succinct, but without telling your subscribers the key information that they need to use the service or purchase your new service or your new products, your subscribers will not know what action to take. And not only will they not know what action to take, they also won't know or feel that they need to take that action now. And for any business owner, you want your audience, your ideal customers, to take action immediately or as soon as you want them to. So if your email contains something like, hey, I've got new social media strategy sessions that you can book now. Now with that content, there's no deadline, there's no urgency, there's no promise that your sessions will actually help your audience. It just feels like a sales pitch that has come out of nowhere. So to fix this, you want to stack your email content with urgency and benefits. So the content could read something like, I'm opening 3 slots this month for my Instagram strategy sessions. So if you're a coach or an entrepreneur or small business owner who is ready to convert your clients fast, then book a slot by the end of the week. And if you've been winging your content so far, this is the time for reset. Book a slot before they all go. Now in that email content, your audience, your target audience, your ideal customer, they can see themselves in that situation, in that scenario, because you called them out by name. You said if they're a coach, if they're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, if they are ready to convert their followers into clients, then they need to book a session with you. So that's created urgency and added value so that they know and are able to trust that you could potentially help them with what they're struggling with. And most importantly, they have a reason to act now and book a slot. So if you're getting value from this video, please remember to like and subscribe so that I can make more content like this, and also so that this video can reach other people who would also find it helpful. Now, if you're still with me, that's a good thing. And I'm going to go through 3 psychology tips that you can use to revive a dormant email list. So these are people, they've signed up to you, so they're on your list, but they're the ones that don't open your emails, or they don't read your emails, and they don't take the action that you want them to. So to get over this and to wake up those dormant, sleepy subscribers, what you can do is, number 1, make it about your subscribers. So your emails should be about your subscribers, their goals, their aspirations, their pain points, what they need, what they're searching for. So make sure that your email content is about them. Even though you're talking about your services or your product, when people read emails, subject lines or emails, they're subconsciously searching for relevance and what in that email is relevant to them and their lives and their situation. So remember to make your emails about them, your email list, your customers. For example, if you're a party planner and you send an email with a subject line saying, photos for my latest event, now that's more about you. It doesn't really tell your subscribers what value they are going to get from it. But if your subject line read something like, planning a kid's birthday party, ? Now that subject line is going to pique curiosity from anyone on your list who is probably planning or thinking about planning a kid's birthday party. And that's going to make them want to click to find out exactly what's inside the email. Now let's go through another example. of making it about your audience and not about you. So imagine you're a financial advisor and you send out an email to your list with a subject line saying something like, end of tax year planning tips. Now that is quite vague and not very specific. So you could flip that around to make it about your audience that reads, 3 ways to protect your income and keep more of it before the tax deadline arrives. So that makes it more specific and has an emotional element that will make and encourage people to click on your email. Now, the second solution is using curiosity gaps. As human beings, our brains are hardwired to fill in any gaps. We want to make sense of things. That's just how we're wired naturally. So if there is a gap or an open loop, then the human brain will want to close that loop and get to the answer. Now let's go back to our party planner example. So imagine you're a party planner and you send out an email with a subject line that reads, the one party request that made me pause and what I did instead. Now with that subject line, you've left it open, you've created suspense, and now your email list, your readers, your audience, they want to know what was the request and what you did instead. So you've created an open loop, and naturally as human beings, we want to close that loop. So we want to know what the answer is. This also positions you as an expert in your particular field, because you're not just taking orders from your customers or your clients. You're able to take their suggestions and then turn it into something that would be more suitable or get a better result. And within that, you've created suspense and intrigue while showing personality, building curiosity, and adding value. Now, the third fix that you can use in your emails to revive that dormant list, to get those subscribers clicking on your emails and reading them, is to have visual cues within your email content. Now, what visual cues do is that they help guide the reader's eyes so that they focus on key information when they're skimming. Most people, when they're reading emails, they're on the go, they're at work, or they're multitasking. So it's important to have visual cues, for example, call to action buttons that are bright and are clear with a simple action of what to do, so that they can see that in the emails and then click on the buttons or take any other action that you want them to. Having short paragraphs also helps, and bolding important words so that they can focus on that. So now you know the reasons why some of your emails may be getting ignored and how to fix it. Whether you're helping families plan their perfect birthday party or coaching clients to financial freedom, you must remember that your emails are an experience and a reflection of how you help your customers. So remember, if you want emails that convert or emails that will revive your dormant email list and wake up those sleepy subscribers, you need to understand what your audience needs to hear right now. Now, as you've stayed to the end of this video, I've got a little bonus for you. If you check in the description box, you can download my free guide on the 5 email sequences you need to boost growth in your business. So that's for you, it's free. Just click the description box below, sign up, and then you'll get that straight into your inbox. And in case you didn't know, on this channel, Hear the Hustle, I speak to entrepreneurs, side hustlers, business owners about how they raise money for their ventures, whether that's through crowdfunding, raising venture capital, or going on accelerator programs. And as a content strategist and copywriter, I also share strategic content marketing strategies that you can use to take your content marketing to the next level. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.